Man, that is awesome. That's a 2,200 pound engine that just got done running 200 hours under full load at up to 1,800 RPMs in a test cell, being pushed well beyond the extreme conditions it'll ever see in the field. And then it was brought back here where it was torn down and all of the parts were inspected for wear and deposits, two of the worst enemies for an engine. Now I'm gonna go sit down with some experts who are gonna explain to me how an engine oil doesn't just protect your engine, but it can actually extend its life. Sean, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Brian.
Kevin, good to see you.
Good to see you.
So I just came away from seeing that massive diesel engine that you guys had put through those torture tests, and that is blowing my mind, especially when you consider the extreme conditions those things are subjected to. So one of the first questions I have for you guys is, what are some of the parts of the engine that are most vulnerable to wear?
So there's really three, and one of which is really the focus of that Cummins ISM test, and that's the valve train. The valve train is the precision mechanical components which are used to kind of synchronize all the actuation of the valves, which is critical to engine performance. The second is sort of that workhorse part of the engine, the power cylinder, which is the pistons, the ring and liner, which is actually absorbing all that pressure and helping to drive the crankshaft, which brings you to the third area, which is the bottom end of the engine, which is the bearings and bushings, which are helping facilitate that motion.
So what you're saying is there's a lot going on in here.
Yeah.
One of the things that really sticks out to me is the extreme temperatures that are happening inside these engines. It's incredible, really, but what really causes wear?
Yeah. So at a high level, wear is caused by the contact between moving parts. And so we're doing a lot to the lubricant to make sure that that doesn't happen. So the number one objective is, where possible, to provide a sufficient oil film that actually prevents the two moving parts from coming into contact. In certain subsystems, that's not actually practical, and so there's actually additives which are utilized to provide anti-wear protection in those particular subsystems. The other thing that we have to be careful about is the accumulation of contaminants. So engine oil is exposed to combustion byproducts like lube oil soot, as well as corrosive byproducts of combustion that can otherwise degrade the oil's lubricating performance.
So you mentioned soot. Is it possible to formulate an oil that reduces or even eliminates soot?
No. Soot comes from the engine. So what you do when you're formulating an oil is you add what are called dispersants, which are chemicals that work a lot like a soap. They disperse the soot, which keeps it in solution so it doesn't agglomerate. As the soot agglomerates, it increases the oil's viscosity. And then the soot particles are also abrasive. So keeping them dispersed helps to reduce wear in the engine, as Sean was talking about.
From an obvious standpoint, oil is going to protect the engine. But we're now with Tier 4 emissions. We have these really complex after treatment packages that also happen to be really expensive. Can oil do anything to protect those as well?
So these emission control systems are relatively new to the scene. So they first were utilized in diesel trucks back in 2007, and as you mentioned, the Tier 4 final standards, which began to affect the off-highway market in 2014. And both of those types of equipment have catalysts and filters which are meant to reduce nitrogen oxides and particulate matter to below regulated levels. The reason that we're interested in them as lubricant formulators, though, is a small amount of lubricating oil does get consumed and ends up in the exhaust. It has incombustible byproducts which then accumulate in those devices and can degrade their performance over time, requiring periodic maintenance.
So back up, because you may have just blown my mind. You're telling me that a lot of the DPF maintenance that we're having to deal with isn't actually a byproduct of the combustion process. It's actually a byproduct of the oil itself burning off.
Yeah, the metals in the oil, we call them metals. The detergent metals, which are calcium, magnesium, the wear metals like zinc, phosphorus, and molybdenum, will form metal oxides that won't burn off when you regenerate the catalyst, the DPF system. So when you're regenerating, you're driving the soot off because that's carbon. It forms carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide, and those are gases. But the metals are metal oxides, and they're solids. So they stay in the DPF, and over time they accumulate and eventually clog it.
Interesting. I had no idea oil had that much of an impact on your DPF. That's interesting. So how do you fix that?
So most oils in the market today have 1% sulfated ash. That's actually the maximum allowable level by modern standards. We've developed a product that has 60% less sulfated ash.
Oh, wow.
And what that allows for an end user like you is you can extend the interval between those DPF cleaning events by 2.5x. If you're cleaning your devices at 400,000 miles today, you're increasing that out to about 1 million, and the same sort of interval increase in off-highway equipment really keeps those units in operation, takes maintenance out of the equation.
Yeah, that's having a tremendous impact. You guys make some claims on your bottles that you're going to protect my fleet for X number of miles or X number of hours. How do you guys know? How do you prove that out to where you can confidently put that on the jug?
Yeah, a lot of end users and customers don't fully understand the extent of the testing that we do to formulate, evaluate, and validate the performance of the fluids that we market and sell. There's 9 engine tests, countless bench tests, as well as other specific requirements that are inherent in the performance standards that we meet and exceed today. But we don't just stop there. We're very active in validating the performance of our fluids in real world conditions. In fact, I just recently looked at a heavy duty truck engine that had run over 1 million miles with Delo 400 XLE
Wow.
10W30. Yeah. And it looked great after 1 million miles of on-road operation. Many years ago, you couldn't have done that, right? And so customers are demanding longer equipment life, and we've developed products that can stand up to these extreme conditions, which are inherent in today's business operation, but can protect the engine for much longer time than we did before.
Well, thank you guys for all the information. Any last nuggets of wisdom for some fleet owners that might be looking to change oils?
Yeah, partner with your Chevron representative. They can help you kind of navigate this landscape, understand your unique business needs, and select the fluid that helps you reduce your total cost of operation. That can be through reduced maintenance, through improved efficiency. There's a lot of dimensions which the lubricant can help impact the performance and help you improve your bottom line.
Thank you guys again. So we've got engine life, extended oil drain intervals, and fuel efficiency. That's 3 factors that really have a tremendous impact on your bottom line as a business owner. To find the right product for your operation, visit ChooseDelo.com.